Most organizations come into an AI conversation with a very practical goal. They want to optimize what already exists: faster processes, cleaner workflows, better efficiency. That is not wrong, of course. In fact, in our first workshop, that is exactly where we started. We looked at how AI could be applied to existing systems to improve outcomes without changing the structure underneath. But in the second workshop, we did something different. We deliberately asked participants not to default to familiar tools or habitual thinking, not to jump straight to ChatGPT, not to assume the current processes was the right one to begin with. Instead of asking, how do we make this process better, we asked a different question. We asked, what is the outcome we are actually trying to achieve? And that shift, that little shift, changed the entire conversation. Because once you step back from optimization, you start to see the constraints you have been working inside all along without questioning them. You start to realize that many transformation efforts fail, not because the technology is wrong, but because the goal itself was never re-examined. What will you see in this workshop is not a tool demonstration, it is a demonstration of thinking. How leaders move from improving efficiency to reimagining outcomes and hence solutions. How AI becomes a way to challenge assumptions rather than reinforce them. How meaningful transformation begins when we stop automating old decisions and start asking better questions. This is not about replacing people or processes. It is about deciding which ones still make sense.
You can now work in your own Miro boards. So there is generally an ATS software, a computer software. People apply with their CVs, and this ATS software will review those CVs and it will prioritize candidates based on keywords. It's a keyword-based matching. Then what happens is that the employee, which is the HR person, would skim read the shortlisted candidates that the ATS software has thrown in. And then the human prioritizes it. Then the employee will also then not just skim read, he will go into detail, look at the CVs again, cover letters again, and again prioritizes them. Then what happens is the employee also goes into their social media accounts, specifically LinkedIn, checks out what's available for them and whether the information matches, if there is like any cultural red flags, that sort of thing. Then after all this, HR employee creates a shortlist to do a virtual video interview. He then coordinates, sets up video interviews via email, and then conducts video interviews. Then again, based on those video interviews, creates a shortlist of candidates. I want you to put yourself in the shoes of this company who is trying to hire people, because that's what we're doing here. There's a company, bank, a startup, whoever they are, every company does this process. I want you to assume that you are a CEO, an HR person working on behalf of the CEO who is trying to screen applicants for a specific job role. I don't know whether you think this, but I think this is very interesting. The answers, like who are we doing this for? We have so many different answers of who actually is this for. And it's the simplest process of them all, but we have so many different answers. And I think it really matters who we are doing this for, because what solutions we come up with or what we want to do depends on who is this for. Let's see what I've got. So we want to narrow down candidates that fit and will stay and be positive addition to company. I'm going to quickly exclude the majority that doesn't fit. Yeah. Now, what are the biggest challenges and pain points right now in this process that are stopping us or slowing us down in getting to that goal? The point we are trying to make is all those criteria, it's very difficult to actually show it in a CV. It's very hard to judge all of this from a CV, especially when it can be copied. So with that in mind, the intent of this process is finding the best talent. That's what we've agreed. That's the goal. How do we find the best fit for the role? What I want you to do is I want you guys to do a little bit of LDJ. What we're doing is we are saying you need to now you're going to get some time, 15 minutes or so, where you can go and do your own internet research. So go across industries and across sectors. And then at the end, we are going to ask you to give us a sort of short description of why you like this idea and what was it in that specific idea that you liked. What I want you to do is take a screenshot, whatever you find. So the screenshot should be showing the specific thing that you liked about it. So with that, guys, we are now going to start looking at AI cards. The first category we are going to look at is AI finds organizing information, organizes information. And most of you might not have seen these cards. So these are AI cards that we use within the AI design sprint. And essentially, they are abstracted capabilities of AI. And each of these capabilities are grouped under a high level category. So AI find and organizing information, that's the first category we are going to look at in the first, for the first, this first iteration. Within that category, you have these subcategories. So AI finds relevant information. So not just searching and vague whatever, but very specific and relevant. So find specific information. So you've given a name and it finds that information. AI sorts data into groups. AI creates and finds group segments. So this is interesting because it's saying it's not just grouping, it's also creating the grouping. So it figures out what grouping it wants to create and then creates the grouping. AI tags and labels, so like themes and stuff. And then AI also turns unstructured data into structured data. And what I want you to do is, as you can see here, this is an example. You can pick the card, don't move it, don't drag and drop, copy and paste it. So the one that you want to use, let's say AI turns structured data into unstructured data. Use that, and then use your sticky here, put that on there, and then write down exactly how you see this particular capability being used in your solution. Essentially, what you're trying to do is answer the question, how might we find the best suitable talent that has highest likelihood of getting through the in-person interviews? And your time starts now. Next, we are going to look at this category here. It's called AI creates. Great. We are going to next do a very interesting category, which I think will be super useful in this context. This one, AI makes decisions and recommendations. Thank you very much. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to bring this all together. So you've created a lot of ideas how we've individually, we've broken down what AI can do in many, many capabilities, as you can see. This was also in our HR process, but they were talking about offer and negotiation after the candidate has been selected. Okay, so we have these two winning concepts. Thank you so much, guys, for today, though. I mean, we really, really appreciate your time.
What you have just seen is not a finished answer. It is a way of thinking. Most organizations rush to apply AI to the loudest problem in front of them. But sustainable transformation does not come from speed alone. It comes from clarity. Clarity about what you're actually trying to achieve. Clarity about which assumptions still hold and which don't. Clarity about where technology genuinely adds value rather than complexity. The work we do in these workshops, it's not about introducing another tool into the system. It's about creating the space to ask better questions before decisions get locked in. If you are responsible for transformation, talent, or strategy, and you recognize this tension between optimization and reimagination, then this is the conversation we should be having together. Because AI doesn't replace leadership, it exposes it.